I do typically not do comedy at intimate house concerts. And I love Taylor, and so I was like, sure, of course. But I was like, I have to like write something different than my normal like Laugh Factory bit. And also, well, I get to it, but I am gonna kind of read, but like, that's just know you can come see me do like comedy anytime.
Will you plug later?
Yeah, but the glibness of my typical thing just wasn't really, it just didn't fit the space, and I want to learn with you. So that's what's up. So hi everyone, hello. Yes, I am wearing a torn jumpsuit. It's because I do not care anymore. How are you? I don't. I'm kidding. I'm trying not to say I don't care anymore. What I should be saying is I went on a cocktail of anti-anxiety and antidepressant medication after Trump won, and it's making my emotions difficult to access. I'm sure I'm not alone, but the farther away I can put my panic, the better for all involved. Which is not to say I don't care. Obviously, I care. Look, we're all here at this house concert on the 4th of July.
Yes!
Okay. All right. That's we're all resisting. Okay. We got this. Just getting it out of the way. Okay. I have to say, I do feel very at home here because my parents never really went out with like the jingoistic displays of patriotism because they were cool. We didn't do much. They like to remind us of all the horrible things that America did, even when we were children. You might not believe me, but my plus one is my sister, so that you can corroborate. Actually, I have a story about that. When I was in kindergarten, I've been thinking a lot about it lately, but the first day we had to do the Pledge of Allegiance and the song. I don't remember which song, but it's probably the Land of the Free one. I did not know it, but there was a girl in my class who could not believe I didn't know it. She was like, I've known the pledge since forever. Why don't you know it? And so I went home and asked my parents like why I don't know the Pledge of Allegiance. And my father was like, because in this house, we pledge allegiance to the earth. This is word for word exactly what he said, which I know because he had laminated bookmarks made. Rewritten Pledge of Allegiance to the Earth that I got to take to school pretty much whenever I wanted. So I was popular. Anyway, my name is Hope Rehak. I know that Taylor said it. Some of you know me and some of you don't. My last name is Czech, from the Czech language, which I used to do jokes about, but they've changed. Because on the paternal grandparent side, which I don't know if you know this, but in a patriarchal society, the majority of us have our father's last name. So this one branch came over from what I think was then Austria-Hungary, and then Czechoslovakia, and what is now, today, the Czech Republic. I say it was something else then because those people immigrated in the 1880s, during a time when the United States government was totally cool with pretty much any white lady who wanted to come colonize. Shout out to the Potawatomi, on whose land we are sitting. Anyway, happy 4th. No one is legal on stolen land. Am I right?
Colonizers Day.
Yeah.
Love you.
Thank you. I was like, how do you make a joke about the 4th? You don't. Fucking don't. Pay some goddamn respect. Okay. You might not want to laugh at that because that wasn't really a joke. And one of the things I'm having trouble with right now is that I actually did stand up, I don't know, for about 6 years. And then last year in November, I was on the CTA coming home from a party in the South Loop, and I was assaulted at about 2:30 a.m. And since then, I haven't really wanted to do comedy because, for the most part, comedy is done late at night and requires, if you are a person without a driver's license, let's say, a reliance on public transit that is frankly dangerous for a female-bodied person. I'm sure it's also extremely dangerous for other bodies, but I'm trying to stay in my fucking lane. Speaking to my experience, okay? Not including everyone. I'm talking about me. Okay. So yeah, I do want to talk about it. And it isn't super funny. I was alone on the red line. This isn't working. I know, I'm like, oh, I've been so for so long. And now it's like, so many things have changed, but okay, all right, let's get back. I was alone on the red line between Clark Division and North and Clybourne, going north, and there's a really substantial amount of time between those two stops. And these guys tried to steal my purse, but I'm from Chicago, like really from Chicago, so I was like, well, nah. Let me also say that they did not have a weapon. Had they had a weapon, I'd either have given them my purse or I would be dead. But they didn't, so I was like, not today, Satan, and successfully kept them from taking my purse. Yes, go me. But these were two youngish guys, and it really humiliated and emasculated them when they couldn't get my purse. So I got up and went to the door to try to get away from them, waiting for the next stop, and one of the guys lifted up my skirt and started sticking his hands up my vagina, really trying to get in there, while he was saying awful things like, "What are you doing alone on the train at 2:30 in the morning?" By the way, what was I doing? Trying to get home. The trains run at that time. I am a native fucking city girl, and I will use the trains at whatever time and for whatever reason I want.
Yes.
Thank you. I want to pause here and say that this was not an empty train car. In case you were wondering, this is a car filled with at least 9 other people, but all of those people were men. And before you say, how do I know they were all men? Well, I know because later I had to go to the police station and look at the photos taken from the 6 video cameras that are on every single train car, because Rahm Emanuel's a fascist. Hold for applause.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't fucking do anything, but they're there. And I actually had to look at the footage and see that there were actually 7 other male-bodied passengers besides the 2 men who assaulted me, who were sitting right there and watching this unfold, and that over the 4 minutes this was happening, they didn't do anything. So you might notice this isn't super funny, and that's because, I'm not sure if you've heard the news yet, but an Australian comedian named Hannah Gadsby dropped a special called Nanette on June 19th on Netflix. How many people have seen it? Raise your hand.
I've heard it.
Okay, great, good. If you're keeping track, that was super recently, June 19th. And if you don't know already, her set literally just changed all of comedy. It was like a nuclear bomb went off in my world of comedy, at least here in Chicago. And I cannot recommend the special enough, but what she says in her set, which is genius, is that now is not the time, as a female comic or anyone else who is not a straight, cis, white male in the world, to do self-deprecating humor. Okay. I watched this special 4 days ago with my family, and all of my humor, everything I had been doing for 6 or 7 years now, was basically self-deprecating. And I had been taught to do that because the conventional wisdom about stand-up was that you have to humble yourself to the audience to get them to laugh with you. You have to make the audience think they hold the power over you so that they don't feel manipulated. Or better yet, you have to make them forget you have complete power over them, which you do if you can command attention for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes straight. So anyway, Hannah Gadsby's thesis in her special Nanette, which you have to watch, I keep saying it if you haven't already, is that given everything going right now in our country and in the world, anyone who's part of an oppressed population literally cannot afford the surrender to power that is self-deprecation. Let me say it one more time. Anyone who's part of an oppressed population literally cannot afford the surrender to power that is self-deprecation. We can't keep giving people reasons to write us off or take away what little power we have struggled to have right now, what power I have right now, by virtue of just being in front of you and you listening to me. Every scrap of power we have, as anyone oppressed, is hard-won and will not be surrendered for entertainment. So today, for the first time in my life, I am less concerned with making you laugh than I am with telling you to go home and watch Nanette. You can use my Netflix login if you want. Find me after. But I do actually want to make you laugh, and I actually do have jokes. I am actually a comic, so what I will tell you that is that rather shockingly, I date men. Child rape is some bullshit in 2018. It's some bullshit. I can't believe in 2018 we are still doing this.